Hey, there we go.
How's it going?
Good, good.
There we go. Front view. All right.
Ah, where to go? There.
Awesome. You got the whole setup going on in there.
Excellent.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Awesome. All right. So nice to meet you, Jeremy. Yeah, thanks for having me on the call, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Turn off my fan. There. All right.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks for inviting me, guys. So Jeremy, I'm Rob. Sebastian may have already told you I run the fulfillment side. So
Okay.
So we'll dive into kind of more of the KPI questions so we can figure out how to reverse engineer your marketing and basically your process so we can make this profitable.
Right.
So if I ask you a bunch of questions that feels like I'm interrogating you, I promise there's a method behind this. So sometimes it feels that way. But also, man, so I was checking out your business and I want to hear a little bit more from you exactly what angles you'd like to take and what types of people you like working with.
Mhm.
It seems to me like it could benefit so many different types of events.
Yes. Yeah. Drop Event basically started as I needed it and it didn't exist. I had my daughter's kindergarten graduation. So a bunch of parents taking photographs, and people had really nice cameras and other people got angles that I wanted to see. And I went kind of like, hey, can I get a copy of those photographs? And like, I don't know any of the other parents because our kids go to the same school, but we don't know each other. We're not, this was kind of early days of a lot of the social media, and we're not on the same social media. People are like, I'm going to post mine to Flickr. Mine are going on SmugMug. Mine are on Facebook. And emailing like 20 photos around to everyone wasn't going to make sense. And I was like, there needs to be a way we can all just put them all in one shared gallery and download the ones we want from each other without all having to, sign up for Facebook or Flickr. And so that's what I built, and I built it over a weekend and just kind of made it free, put Google ads on it, and just sent it out there. And I needed it, maybe somebody else would, and it started picking up and getting kind of word of mouth, and people were signing up and using it.
Nice.
And then, so it was paying for itself early on with just Google ads, and then people started asking for features. So I started adding some features, and eventually I had I think it was like $10 a year or something like that, and you got an ad-free experience with some higher features. And then eventually it became $20 a year, and then people were asking for more things and then telling me how grossly underpriced it was. And they're like, I'm paying way more for everybody else's product and not yours. So then I switched to a subscription based. So I think I started at $5 a month, and then now eventually last year and a half ago, it switched to full time. There's no free version anymore. There's a $20 a month for a single event subscription and a $100 a month for, you can have as many events as you want subscription.
Nice. Okay.
And it's all ad free, and you get a unique address. You can email photos back and forth to the event. You can just upload them directly. You can, people like, for instance, were collecting for yearbook photos and stuff. And so they didn't want a gallery. They just wanted to be able to collect photos. So you can switch your event to that mode. So you can just get everyone to give you all the photos, and then you can download them all, but none of them have to sign up for anything. They just go to the webpage. They say, add my photos, and enter their email address, and they can upload. Or they can just email the photos directly because we get your email address that way. But throughout that whole process, I really didn't do much of any advertising. It was all word of mouth. Somebody would write a link about it or write an article about it, and then it grew. And it's all been just me, like nights and weekends, and then a year and a half ago, I left my software development job and just full-time drop event because I was like, let's see if this thing is, could use my attention. And it's a nice point, but it's kind of plateaued. And because there's no real active, funnel bringing people in. And so that's what I'm trying to figure out is how do I get the bigger audience and how do I get the people in? And it's really not my expertise. I've dabbled with Facebook ads. I've dabbled with Google ads. I don't really know what I'm doing. That's not my area. And whenever I do, I see that I get some traffic, but I don't correlate that traffic with people signing up. And then, I stop the ads and then I end up getting more signups after that. And I'm like, what? I don't understand what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And so that's when I kind of, I went to a conference last year and they were all talking about the Facebook funnels and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't know how to do any of that. I should talk to somebody who does. And that's where we are now. So the majority of my customers come through Facebook because either someone posts about it and it's got a natural viralness to it because, you have your wedding and you want to get all your guests' photos. So you, of course, tell all your guests to come to Drop Event to give them your photos.
Yes. Yeah. I was going to ask if you're a programmer.
Right.
And all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
when people ask, they say, so are you a programmer? I say, nope. Actually, most programmers don't know what I do and I don't know what they do. So
exactly.
Writing code is not creating ads. So
right. Exactly. And so it's used a lot for companies use it and they'll tend to get the unlimited plan and use it for all their corporate events. Do a ton of weddings because you want to get all your guests' photos. And, I remember going to my cousin's wedding and they gave everyone little portable cameras and had you turn them in at the end, to try and collect everyone's photos.
Yeah.
Oddly, funerals, which I hadn't thought of. So a lot of people want to collect a bunch of photos from their friends and relatives to show at the funeral.
Yeah, man, people are dying to get into that.
Yeah, exactly. And school events and trips. I have a guy who does singles travel. Like he books like singles to go on trips all over the place, and he creates an event for each one for them to share their photos. And basically, he's got a built-in ads, like built-in marketing for the next trip because it's like, hey, look at all these people having fun on the last trip, and he doesn't have to do anything and hire a photographer to go take all the photos.
And see, that's actually one of the strategies used in our ads. So it's awesome that you kept that. Yeah. So that's going to be more of the aftermath.
Gotcha.
So we'll talk about that. That's post-purchasing retargeting. We'll talk about that in a second.
Cool.
So it's great that you're familiar with the process and you understand that it's more advanced than just putting up an ad and it works.
Right.
So I'm glad you understand that. What's great too is that you already know how to write code. So the only way you can actually attest revenue to ads is if you have certain event codes set up within certain pages. So we would, if those aren't already there, I think I looked at your site. I didn't see those set up. But basically I would give you certain event codes and we would be able to track whenever that triggers.
Right.
So this way we could attest certain revenue, which is huge because this way, that's the only way you can scale advertising is we need to know exactly what's going in and what's coming out.
Right.
And then be able to push that against your margins.
Gotcha.
So we'll do all that for you. So yeah, let's dive into exactly how we set everything up. For you, it's great. I mean, just right off the bat, there's a lot of people that you should be competing against and putting your name on top of theirs, like Kodak or any type of wedding company or any type of boutique. So you should be doing something called a conquesting program. And this is just a piece of free information for you that you could try to do on your own if you wanted to. But that strategy alone will show you super huge returns. It's called conquesting, and it's something a lot of car dealerships love to do. Now, I'm going to give you, I know I made it sound probably easier than it is, but, and these are things that we're going to do for you in this campaign, but car dealerships love it because, first of all, their egos battling against each other is huge, and they love to bid on each other's names. Attorneys like to do the same thing.
Right.
Nowadays, it's not who's the best, it's who's known as the best. So that's what advertising does for you. So that's something that we would do for you, but we would do that to all the wedding boutiques and all the vendors that host weddings and things like that.
Gotcha.
Not just on Google, but also on Facebook. So that would be step one. Step two is you already have a huge client base. So this is going to be really big right now for Facebook. There's a lot of changes coming to the algorithm in Facebook next month. As you've probably seen on the news with Zuckerberg's whole ordeal.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are a lot of changes coming because of that. So they're going to be eliminating a lot of third-party data, which is us saying, well, we noticed they have a credit score of this, or they purchased a car or a certain car or a gym membership or whatever.
Right.
So that makes it really difficult for people to drive really relevant cold traffic.
Gotcha.
So for people that aren't familiar with the pixels, it's going to be very difficult to make any type of money on Facebook ads without burning a lot of money on Facebook ads first.
Right.
Now, for you, luckily, we already know how to do that. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to take a client base you already had, and we're going to create an audience that looks like that client base. And what Facebook will do is it's actually going to take data points from something called a lookalike audience. And then we're going to be able to send ads to people that look like your buyers based on all those data points from the email addresses. And then we're going to send different types of ads to those actual email addresses on Facebook, not through an email, but on Facebook.
Gotcha.
So those are both different types of retargeting ads. Now, that's step one, right? So step two is when they go to your page, and whenever they go to start the subscription, but they don't finish it, that we refer to that as, I'm sure you know, abandoned cart.
Right.
So we're actually going to run abandoned cart ads, both on the Google Ad Exchange, the mobile ad exchange, which is like apps on your cell phone, and Facebook, news feeds and railings and Messenger. So what this does is people abandon that process where they're already interested. That's like your hottest buyer. So especially for anything e-commerce or buying online, you're losing like 60% of the business through abandoned carts for one thing or another.
Right.
So that's a huge part of our campaign is we send out 3 different types of ads just on abandoned cart. So within the first 7 days, we give them 3 reasons why they should come back and do it in 7 days, or we offer them some type of incentive or discount code, one of the two.
Gotcha.
So just like you said that your buddy likes to, they take the pictures and they post pictures of or videos of the last party that they had and they just promote it.
Right.
So you do social proof is everything.
Cool.
So this is part of that strategy. So we get them there. Now, when people do one of 2 things, by the way, this is the psychology behind the process, just like you're a programmer, that's why we do ads. So people do this for one of 2 things. Either they say, oh, that's just an ad, that's salesy, I'm not going to do anything. Or they act based on the urgency. Okay. Now for the people that don't act on the urgency, in 7 days, they get taken off that ad and they're going to start getting shown a new ad for the next 60 days. So then immediately it registers to them like, oh shoot, this is limited. Because now they have a lower incentive. Still incentivized, just not nearly as much. So then they say, oh man, I should probably take action now because this is a real thing. If they don't take action the next 60 days, they get put on another ad for the next 180 days. So this way it's an evergreen process, so we can start taking them off one ad, putting them on another based on their behavior or lack thereof.
Cool.
Okay, so those are the 3 ads we run for abandoned cart. The next campaign we're going to run is something called post-purchase retargeting. So this is something where people do jump on the subscription with you. Now, odds are their friend's going to want to too. So what we want to do is start sending them an ad saying, hey, thanks for putting your trust in us and choosing us as this specific type of vendor. What we want to do is offer you this for a friend because odds are your friend's going to love it too.
Right, right.
Now, here's what we see happening with that. This is why I love the ad, because everybody feels like they can, quote unquote, cheat the system. So what they want to do is say, hey, why do I have to only give this to my friend? I can give this to whoever I want. It's the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So they start tagging their friends, they start sharing the posts, and then it goes viral based on that.
Right.
These are the most cost-effective ads that I run out of any campaign, next to fan base, which we'll talk about next. But so these post-purchase retargeting ads are super low cost per new customer.
Gotcha.
CPA. The last campaign we're going to run is going to be something called a fan base. So this is anyone that likes your Facebook page and likes your Instagram page.
Mm.
Now, people confuse this a lot of time with boosting a post. So boosting a post is going to be just clicking the boost button and trying to choose targeting. Fan-based campaigns have a much lower CPM, and they hit everybody in your fan base, not just a certain percentage. A lot of people don't know you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's sweet. Now, we offer them something different. We say, we are who we are because of you, so we want to give back to you by doing XYZ.
Gotcha.
That is the highest converting ad I run out of any campaign when I set all of these up, because they're already familiar with your brand. They already like you. They either A, have purchased, or B, have supported you in one way or another. So they're the highest likely to buy customer.
Gotcha.
So these are all the campaigns we run within one line of business in order to make it profitable. And the best part is we can track the revenue we bring in based on those event pixels you install on your in your coding.
Nice.
Yeah. So I say in your script, giving you a script in your source code. I don't know what. Potato, whatever. So, so anyway, that's how that works.
Cool.
But yeah, I don't know programming, but I know how to. I at least know codes and headers and footers. So that's all I got. But awesome, man. That's pretty much how we set it up and make it profitable. But yeah, really, really simple Google ads to where we conquest and do that against your competitors. And then these types of advanced Facebook campaigns and multi-touch retargeting is what makes your ads profitable. This would crush on Snapchat ads as well, but that's quite a bit more expensive for the minimum spend for Snapchat. They're like where Facebook was 5 years ago right now.
Oh, gotcha.
So they don't even have a pixel set up yet to like track data from visitors.
Right.
They're trying to compile data from people using their ad platform. So they require a pretty high minimum spend per day, where Facebook doesn't anymore.
Right.
So you can start at like $1 a day now on Facebook, which is crazy. I mean, which by the way, every e-commerce store does. They put like $1 a day on each different product and they run retargeting video ads.
Gotcha.
The people that go to the product but don't add it to cart. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we do to make these campaigns successful. What are your questions so far for me before we actually dive into the KPIs for your business?
Questions are like, what is the, of course, every programmer is like, I just turn this button and then it instantly turns on and I'm going to see traffic. But of course, I know that's not actually true.
Yes.
What's like the timeline on like when we start a campaign, like how long before you start actually, seeing results?
Great question. So it's 2 to 4 weeks before we actually get the campaign live. You don't actually pay your first month until the campaign is live for the actual management portion of it, for us to do that. But you should start seeing results in your first 4 weeks. Our goal is always to break even in the first 4 weeks, especially with the large database that you have, because it sounds to me like you quit your job to do this. So obviously you've got some business coming in.
Right.
So we would be able to really work off what you've already built, which is going to make it a lot faster.
Cool.
And we're also going to need to, like I said, when we reverse engineering these KPIs, it gives us a better idea of what type of expectations we can set. A lot of time business owners don't necessarily think about that portion of it. As a programmer, I know you're tedious with the details. Right. So that makes me pretty excited. I love talking to programmers about this stuff, or accountants. I actually don't like talking to accountants ever, for anything. But anyway, so the way this will work is we need to find out what it's costing you to get a conversion. And what that's going to do for us is do you already have heat maps installed on your website?
I don't.
Okay. So the reason why that's going to be a big deal is, let's say it costs $2 a click to go to your website and you're closing at 10%, right? So if it costs $2 a click, it costs $200 for 100 visitors. You close at 20%. That's 2 new customers. Let's say they only spent $20 a month. That's $40. So now you're 160 in the red.
Right.
But then you look at your LTV, So your back end value is going to still make you black, right?
Right. Right.
So that's how we need to establish what it's going to cost to get there. Now, if we can look at your website though, and it's only converting at 20%, which is 2%, right? If we can get that, I've been saying 20 the whole time, but 2%, we can get that to convert at 3%, then immediately your margins increase by 33%.
Right. Right.
So, but that portion of it is all based on the heat maps that we install on your site, because we can optimize your actual site based on user interaction.
Cool.
So it's not just ads that have to be optimized, because those have to be watched every day. Because the way the different ad platforms work is they require like you to look at different KPIs before you start to scale, or especially Facebook. Facebook's just a different beast than Google and YouTube ads, because you can't just scale from like $5 to $5,000 if you see it working, because then it starts to re-optimize all over again. Because Facebook is the only platform with a machine learning system. So even though it starts to optimize for you, you have to watch the different demographics to see where to trim the fat so it can optimize even faster.
Interesting.
Which is what we do. So it's a little different. It's a lot of information for you so far, but let's dive into, I love the process. It's exciting. So what questions do you have for me about that portion, now that you know how long it would take to probably become profitable or break even?
Nothing. This sounds good. So I'm good.
Cool. All right. So let's dive into the KPIs portion. This is stuff that you probably look at every day since it's your money. So, so what is it costing you per click right now?
Well, right now I'm literally not running any ads.
Graphic. Okay.
Right. So everything, like I did run some ad campaigns, but I was just, basically clicking in the dark and just going, okay, maybe it's $1. I don't know. Maybe it's 50 cents. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I would just stop the campaign after a while and not see any change in the traffic. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So,
yeah.
So right now, basically, I average around 400 active subscriptions on the site at any given time. Okay. And those range from like the different schemes. I have a 3-day trial on both plans right now. So when you sign up, the first 3 days, like you have to give your credit card, but then the first 3 days you could cancel and it wouldn't charge. And then
yeah, definitely.
But I do run metrics to see, how much churn I'm getting and lifetime value on all my customers and stuff from once they sign up. So.
And what does that LTV look like for you?
$138.
Rocking. That's really good.
So
400 active customers, by the way, is really awesome.
Oh, great.
Because how long business?
Basically 2 years with the subscription model. Like prior to that, it was all kind of goofing around on weekends and stuff.
Yeah, and no paid traffic. That's insane. That's really
Okay, good.
Yeah, so it's gonna be super easy to scale that, especially because you're nationwide, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for sure.
Yeah, the key when I built it was I want to be able to send, like if someone creates an event, I want to be able to send the link to the event to my mom and not have to do tech support when she uploads photos. And so I've always tried to make everything, if it was for me, I would make things slicker and cooler and smaller buttons and stuff, but things have bigger buttons and simple text because it was the idea that, people use it for their 60th, high school reunion, and I don't get any tech support calls from it.
Yeah.
And that's the key, because I'm like, I don't want to answer the emails explaining the difference between downloading and uploading. I don't want to do that.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things that people, they see it, they use it, they like it. And
nice. Big buttons are the future.
Yes, exactly.
I agree with that. So awesome. That's good to know. What are you willing to spend per customer? Or do you know what your cost per new customer is right now?
I don't actually.
Because we'll track all that for you moving forward, but it's always good to be able to gauge that.
Yeah. I mean, you could easily spend half that, so I could spend like $50 to acquire a customer. I don't know if that's low, high, what, but.
No, I mean, it just helps us because when we go over these KPIs, putting a program together, it lets us know like if we're on pace or not for whatever your specific goal is.
Gotcha.
I think it's very realistic. So I
Cool.
would let you know if it isn't. The way I look at it is as long as we're breaking even on the front end, which would be your initial $20, that would be the goal I would have for you.
Right.
So if we can hit that, then that means that because it looks like if you're at $138 then per new customer and an average customer, the lowest membership is $20.
Yep.
Then, I mean, you're keeping people on for, 7 months almost.
Right.
So that means you're seeing like a 500% return on your ad spend if we could break even on the front end.
Yes, exactly.
So that would be great for us, right? So
yes.
For us, in order to, because 500% is typically the number we like to shoot for when we do people that have established businesses already, and we could work on that because we already have so many resources.
Right.
So for us, it's really realistic. So if we can bring a customer in for $20, be rocking for you. So
excellent.
That's how we like to look at it. Cool. That's really good to know. Do you know what your website's converting at?
Let me double check. Actually, let me see my analytics. Probably don't have the information I really want. Yeah, I've tried putting some pixel events in before and some analytics stuff. Let me see, acquisition. I'm seeing a goal conversion rate on Google of overall of 0.8%. So
okay, cool. See, that's so good to know.
Yeah,
that's super great because can you imagine if we just get that to a 1.5, which is average?
Right.
Gosh, you'd be at 800.
Wow.
People. You see how much of a small change like that is massive for the business bottom line.
Right.
So that's why we like to reverse engineer all these numbers because it's not enough to know how much you make on a customer. If you can reverse engineer all the way as granular as to what is your website conversion rate based off of what it costs you to get a customer.
Yes.
Crazy. So that's why the heat maps are so important.
Cool.
All right, that's great. That kind of really helps us gauge what it's going to take here because that's at a 0.8 conversion rate. We don't know the cost per click yet, so we can't really use that information. But yeah, so for every 100 visits, we'd be looking at basically one person to convert.
Nice.
So what we need to look at obviously is going to be what it costs us to get 100 visits. That's how we know what it's going to take to scale. Now, the reason why we love Facebook's platform is because we can not just do it on clicks, we can do it on conversions. So instead of it trying to optimize for clicks, it'll optimize for people subscribing. So it'll look, because the data points behind someone clicking won't be nearly as detailed as the details behind someone that actually signs up.
Right.
So instead of Facebook saying, okay, these types of people click, it'll say, well, these types of people may not always click, but they're more likely to sign up when they do click.
Yes.
So that's how Facebook uses machine learning. But yeah, that being said, if every click this is what we need to look at in the terms of what it's going to cost to break even. If every click is $1, right? Because I know it was costing you more than that before, but if every click is $1, it's going to cost us $100 to almost get. It's actually going to cost $120 to get a customer.
Gotcha.
So what we're going to want to do is get that 0.8% to 1.5%. So this way a new customer costs us $60, which is still $10 more than what you'd like to spend.
Right.
But yeah, and as we get that better, and maybe we get the cost per click lower than $1.
Right.
So these are the factors that we look at.
Cool.
So now you know your expectations based on your numbers.
Right. Excellent.
But anyway, yeah, that's why our management fee is what it is, because we don't just put up ads and hope for the best. So
Right.
it's just as much as programming. If you mess up one thing in the source code, then the whole thing collapses.
Right.
This reverse engineering process is the same.
Cool.
So
excellent.
But what questions do you have for us in regards to expectations now?
So yeah, the similar with like social media, like I post every so often on Facebook. I forget to post for months at a time, and then I'll post again. And would you guys handle all that kind of stuff, or that's separate?
It is a separate fee. We can, just because it's a different type of tedious service.
Right.
We do. So
okay.
Yeah, it's not included in the initial, but we can.
Okay.
I know Sebastian handles all the business stuff for that. I kind of just put everything together.
Cool.
So you guys would be able to work all that good stuff out.
Excellent.
I've just done enough of these calls where I'm pretty familiar with how this process works and everything. So.
Right. Excellent. No, I think I'm good. Yeah, it really helps to hear the numbers, just for my brain, and rather than just like it's a funnel and then
pretty colors, big buttons.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, target and retail, and I'm like, I know I do, but how does that turn into math?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, no, exactly.
Cool.
Same way.
Cool. All right. No, I'm really happy with everything you said, and I'm liking it.
Awesome. Are there any other questions you have before we take next steps on everything?
I don't think so.
Cool. So the way he sets everything up, I don't know how Sebastian prices the additional features. Like I said, I run the fulfillment for the Facebook ads.
Cool.
We'll do Snapchat ads too and other stuff for him. But so you'll have to talk to him on the side about that other stuff.
Okay.
You can cut it if you want to, Sebastian, if I have this wrong. If you get this changed from previous calls. If it did, my bad. So they do $1,000 for the build out, and then $1,500 to manage all the ads. And that'll cover everything that we talked about here. So the build outs, building out landing pages if we ever need to, but it's also giving you the code to install on your pages, what pages that goes on. It's setting up the ad copy, the creative, all the different types of ad campaigns that we just talked about. So there's going to be 7 different ad campaigns. And obviously optimizing those as we go along. So adding or eliminating different traffic distribution sources falls under the management section. So that's what you're paying for every month, is us making sure that we are watching these KPIs to make sure that we can increase revenue. A lot of people try to start from scratch every 30 days and they're like, all right, well, we need to do better this month. Well, it's like, that's how you do better. So if you want to do better, you need to watch one KPI and fix one KPI. So the reason why I decided to work with Sebastian, because there's a lot of other companies you could have worked with, brought on his team. But I wanted to work with him because he's not a phone company. He doesn't come in here and say, we put clients on 24-month contracts, and that's how we build our business.
Right.
So we do it performance-based. So he only does 3-month contracts. And that's the reason why I do it, so we can be all performance-based. I'm saying this to you now because it does take longer than that. That's just all he puts people in contracts for.
Right.
We want to watch one metric every month, so this way we can get better every month. And that's a longer term thing. But if we just focus on heat map conversion primarily, then that alone, as you saw, if we can just get that from 0.8 to 1.5, that alone will increase your profits by 100%.
Right.
So that alone is worth $1,500 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why we like to watch each KPI separately.
Cool.
And that's how we go about the scaling process. Because before you add in more budget, that's why people are able to see more money on the same ad spend, because they're watching these KPIs.
Right.
which they probably talked about when you went to that conference. I don't think.
Cool.
So that's pretty much it. Anything you do outside of that management process is, like I said, I don't know that portion of it. So,
Cool. Awesome.
Rockin' Jeremy. Is there anyone else on the team we'd eventually meet, or is it just?
No, the team is me. You know,
Cool.
that's the advantage and disadvantage of having done it all by yourself. You know,
I think you've done a pretty damn good job. So, so we're excited to help you grow, man, and actually partner with you and be a part of the big process.
Cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, I am good.
Sweet. Is there any reason why you wouldn't do it?
Probably not, because this is the thing of, you know, I mean, even if you think like, oh wow, that seems like a lot of money, and then I'm like, but if I hired someone full time to do this, I would be paying them a lot more than that.
You need to we need a video of you saying that. Like I do. I jump on some calls and I like the numbers like you like the numbers. And
Right.
we go over the numbers sometimes. People say, well, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Sebastian pays people.
Right.
I don't think that's, yeah. So anyway, just good look. I'm glad you brought that up. That's awesome.
Thanks.
But cool, man. Yeah, if that's the case, then, you know, Sebastian will send you over the proposal and everything else. And
Cool.
I mean, how soon are you looking to get a campaign out? Because this takes 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I'm going back to that conference that I went last year this weekend. So it would be next week or so. I want to start getting things going. So it's really, really kicking into high gear over the summer.
Okay. Well, that's the case. Yeah, I know Sebastian will probably send that over to you today or tomorrow. We won't have the ads up till roughly 2 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
So we'll get them up as soon as we can. It'll be middle of next month or end of next month.
Okay, cool.
So right around the summertime.
Excellent.
Cool. Sounds great. Yeah. And like we talked about before, you'd only put the build out fee down first for us to build it out. And you don't actually start paying monthly rates until the campaign goes live. So
Awesome.
pretty simple. But cool, Jeremy, I'm glad I got to meet you, man. I love talking to somebody else that's really in the trenches with, you know, granular stuff. It makes it fun.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on the call, Sebastian.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
Later, guys.
See ya.
Cool.